Ladies and gentlemen, we are live and welcome to the third and final stage of the top 8.
From Africa, they have come from the Americas, they have come from the heartlands
coming
of
in,
Europe.
introducing the finalists of the Zloty Tur 2019 here in Rumia, Poland.
To the Zloty Tur.
What a weekend it's been, and what a special guest we have to join us this evening. IFA champion of the world, Herman Stevens from the US of A. How you doing, Herman?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit sore after 4 days of pulling.
We have 2 people left.
You've come over here 95 kilos. You've done a 10 kilo cut. You've come with one thing on your mind, one mission, and that was to win the world title. You've arm wrestled for 4 days. I asked you earlier, how have you managed that? And you just said, Paul, I wanted a world title and I've got one. You must be over the moon.
Yeah, I mean, you can only be excited to win a world championship. I mean, there's really no other outcome.
So, we're getting ready, Rick, for the senior women's 52 kilo finals.
Women's 52.
It's been an extraordinary week.
52 kilo
and we're coming to the final climax before we get to the top 8. We've got all these finals, the 52 finals. As you can see, the walking girls from the Zloty Tur coming in.
In the qualifiers representing
yeah, it's been a big weekend. I think it's pretty much close to the same lineup as yesterday with the left-hand girls. I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to the same ones. Welcome, Herman, by the way. Hello.
Yeah,
nice to have you here.
How you doing?
Yoko Yamada coming to the stage. This girl is a pocket rocket, an absolute animal on the table. She's been unbeaten in Japan since 2002, and as you can see her dancing to the stage, this girl has enjoyed every minute of the Zloty Tur here in Rumia, Poland.
Yeah, all of Japan arm wrestlers have had such a great energy all weekend throughout the World Cups, through the Zloty, really bring a lot of energy to the tournaments.
Yeah, Alina Patterson, this girl has been a revelation this week. She is focused, she is ready, and she is ready to be the champion of the Zloty Tur, as is Yoko Moda. The same as yesterday, these two was in the same final on the left arm. We are on right arm day. Day number 2 of the Zloty Tur 2019.
I was a bit late this morning to come in to see the open matches, so I'm not 100% sure how this one's going to go. Did they come through undefeated? I think she did come through undefeated again, the same as left yesterday. So I'm interested to see in the final if our Japanese arm wrestler can change it up and do something different. But she's in the league, looks so strong, so strong.
To redeem herself of that loss in the qualifiers.
So referee puts her shoulders square, wrists straight, thumb knuckles visible. We're almost ready to go as he inches them over the centre of the table. Ready for the call. Ready, go.
Looking for a start.
Oh, now the girl is able to negotiate a first setup in the referee's allotted time. So they take him to the referee's grip. He will now negotiate the grip for them. He takes it away as he signals whether or not they want to wrap their thumb. This has been an absolute fantastic weekend and an amazing week of arm wrestling, Rick. We've had the IFA World Championships, the conclusion now of the Zloty Tur World Title and Championships, and the top 8 later this evening.
Yeah, the world of arm wrestling has never seen anything like it. 3 world-level events, all in 5 days. It really has been a spectacular week for arm wrestling. Just an overload of world-level arm wrestling. It's been brilliant.
As we see, Alina's hand being wrapped, Yoko Moda's hand being wrapped. Signal, ready, go, and we have a big hit, Yoko Moda. And you can see the excitement
equaling the score.
Well, I feel like she missed the start there. I think she missed the start. They're going to come back because Parsons was undefeated into the final, so they will come back and do it again. But I'm sure she missed the start. What do you think?
Well, I guess we're going to find out in the rematch. As the referee closed the fingers of Yokomoda, she went straight for the hook. I do believe Alina was ready, but Yokomoda was focused one way, one direction to the pad, straight sideways.
Herman, what do you think about that one, mate? Do you think they're going to have to? She's going to set up differently? Do you think they might come out and do something a little bit different the second time?
Yokomoda just looks so strong. I've been pretty impressed with the Japanese bowlers over the last few years here in Poland.
So Herman, these guys are walking to the table. What's the thought in the mind now? When you was walking in for your title, what were your thoughts?
Well, I mean, it really depends on what happened in the earlier rounds. A lot of these guys have massive A games, massive kill shots. So most of the time your focus is getting what you want in the setup so that you can execute your game plan.
Yeah, I feel like at this level you do have to come in with one major A game, right? And that's always what you've got to stick with right at this level. Unless something dramatically happens, you wouldn't change it, would you? I mean, is that yourself? You'd have felt that way?
Yeah, personally, where I am relative to these guys here, I have to have an A game. I have to have a kill shot. If you're next level, like Krasimir or Prudnik or some of these guys, you may have multiple A games because when you go against a Krasi or a Prudnik, both sides are constantly changing. So those guys will have multiple games.
Needs another one to turn it around, but you know that can happen. We've just seen it in
Hiroshi Katora from Japan, the land of the rising sun, against Kazakhstan's Zenes. A-side finalist. Hiroshi sporting the glasses and the bald head. This guy has been another revelation. The Japanese have sent a fantastic team over to IFA and to the Zloty Tur as we see the wrist being straightened and we see a very strong hand again. That hand, the wrist of Hiroshi is solid. We saw that yesterday, Eric, on the left arm.
Yeah, didn't get moved at all. Didn't get moved. Such a solid arm wrestler.
Yeah, and he has such a flat, straight move that it's very hard to do anything with. Can't really top roll it, can't really hook it. He kind of blocks the Kazakhstan puller from executing his game plan.
See, what's the Kazakh going to be looking to do here, Erman? What would you be doing now? You've just seen the domination of the wrist.
Well, just based on his camp, it's going to be speed kills, right? He has to get the jump on his opponent. If he can't get that, he's going to get crushed one more time.
Referee's grip signalled.
There's the call for the referee's grip.
The refereeing this week has been absolutely magnificent. It's been world class. You can see the professionalism. All the wrestlers have been happy. We've seen very few protests, Herman. Being up there on the stage this week, what would you call?
I would say with these types of events, I mean, the rules are pretty clear. They're strict. They're going to be tight. You know what you're getting yourself into. So, I mean, typically, if you foul, you foul. It's clear. There's nothing you can debate about it, and you take the consequences as they come. So it makes things a lot more simple on the arm wrestling.
Oh, we see the hit. We go, and it's under the pad, and that's a win for Hiroshi Katora from the land of the rising sun.
It's fantastic arm wrestling.
Goes over showing the sign of respect as all these Japanese arm wrestlers do as he's going to take his place on the top of the podium. As we see the replay, the fingers go down and so does the power and so does the hand to the pad. Little grin, little smile there.
Monster wrist strength. Monster.
Certainly. Mohamed Salfa bin Asif, 57 kilo, second place on the left arm in the IFA World Championships. Beat my teammate Barry Knowles. Barry lost on fouls, unfortunately. Makes it on the podium here at the Zloty Tur. That guy has got some serious stamina. 4 days of arm wrestling. Igor Mazarenko, the president of the PAL, handing out those diplomas. So Herman, you were stood there, top of the stage. What was you thinking at this moment in time?
I guess at that point, 10 years kind of go by. They just kind of flash through your eyes, all the training, the wins, the losses, and it kind of culminates into that sort of finale, you know, being the world champion.
IFA champion of the world, Herman Stevens, special guest. He's going to come with us all the way through to the open class finals. He's going to be very interested in seeing that today. He was in the 95 kilo class, but it was a little bit too much. The arms was a bit sore.
Yeah, after doing 95 kilos at IFA, I attempted to participate in 95 kilos here at Zloty, both left hand and right hand, and didn't have the same success, obviously. I went 1 and 2 left yesterday and then 0 and 2 righty today. So it's just part of the game. It's hard to compete in any of these competitions one day, let alone 4 days in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you come with the main game of the main aim of being world champion, and you're leaving on the plane with a gold medal wrapped around your neck.
Yeah, so I can't complain.
No,
I can't complain. And I mean, we can talk about individual accomplishments. I think this weekend is far bigger than anyone's individual gold medal. IFA is the beginning of hopefully something bigger and better for the sport of arm wrestling, and specifically the athletes. So that's really was my aim, was to support that event and support what the arm wrestling community is trying to work on.
Right, here we go with the rematch. Yoko, well, it's so strong in that first match. Parson did go through undefeated to this final, so I think she got a little bit surprised. I feel like she's definitely napping because she had gone through undefeated to get to this final. So we're back at the rerun to see who is going to be the winner. So firstly, who wins this wins the match and is our new 52 champion. So I wonder if Parson's going to try anything different, or maybe she'll just try and make sure she gets that start this time.
Japan versus Sweden. Referee's grip.
And there's the referee's grip. There is the referee's grip.
We've seen quite a few referees' grips this week. The referees take no messing. You know, you're getting your allotted time, and once that's over with, the referees are very strict. I've seen some extremely sensible refereeing this week. It's been very professional. These guys have been trained for 2 and 3 days before the event even starts. And you can tell this week there have been very few complaints. It's been amazing. As we see the fingers of Yokomoto being wrapped.
Parsons want to go outside as fast as she can. Wants to go up.
Oh! Elbow foul.
Wow.
Look at her grin there.
Elbow foul, pass on, and Yamada looking very
Yamada has worked her out. I think she's gotten ahead of it there. Smiling, having a good time. Very confident.
And speaking from experience, it's very hard to come back, even undefeated, for the finals towards the end of the day. It's very fatiguing. Pearson may just be out of it at this point.
It seems that way.
She's got the foot up on the table there. She looks like she's looking for the hook, Herman.
Yeah, I think she thinks there's no other option, so she's getting ready for it.
Maybe press? Or just straight for a hook? That looks like a press.
Go!
Oh! Oh my goodness.
Wow.
That's impressive.
Yoko Yokomoto, another win for the land of the rising sun. The Japanese have come in force, clearly ready for these tournaments. Supporting IFA, supporting the Zloty Tur, and 2 gold medals bagged in the first 2 classes.
That is one of the most impressive women's win that I've seen this whole 4 days. That was so dominant. Just caught her, smiled at her, and then went down slow. It was amazing.
That'll take us into the men's 63 kilo. Sorry, I do apologise. It should be the women's 57 kilo next. And the Channing Open winner from Lithuania, Guitar, she's going to be standing there undefeated. Herman, what do you think of the classes, the IFA classes being the same as Zloty Tur? Sensible or not?
I think it was convenient for me. I mean, if it was a standard, WAF style classes, I would have been forced to cut to 98s or even compete against much larger athletes at 220. But I don't know if it really matters in the end. I think the athletes all figure out where they need to line up, for their best success. But
impressive arm wrestling from Yamada right there.
Yamada is so impressive. Honestly, that is the most impressive match I've seen on the women's class this whole 4 days.
Yeah, both of the Japanese athletes' hands look super strong, not moving past centre table. Talk about super strong wrist, Herman. Yours has looked super strong all week. Anything special that you're doing in the training camp to get that?
Well, I don't know. I did get busted pretty good by Peter on the Polish team, both left and right-handed during the IFA championship. So I guess I do have some things to work on in that respect.
Well, all that matters is you was champion of the world and second on the left. Let's not forget your left arm.
Second on the left. If I could have gotten the straps, I think I would have had another gold medal. But on the following day, I was able to pull Peter again in the straps and beat him without my hand. So I benched that loss.
Yeah, there was good side pressure. There was Todd Hutchins style side pressure.
Yeah.
You seem to be sporting better side pressure than Ryan Bowen than we saw today.
I'm pretty sure I have more side pressure than Ryan Bowen.
I thought you would do. There's a little video that come out this on someone's Instagram, and you come in and said Ryan Bowen doesn't know anything. I will not pronounce the 4-letter word.
Yeah.
Ryan Bowen, come on, put it on the line. You can only give him 110 respect for that.
Yeah, anyone that shows up to this quality or this level of event is better off than anyone else that stays home. So
completely agree.
You can't fault Ryan for any of that.
Zloty from Lithuania. Savitskaitis, the Lithuanian China Open winner. This lady is super strong. Look at the focus in those eyes and the setup. It's a little bit like Teratitas from Lithuania. They're from the same training camp, I believe.
Yes.
And the setup looks very similar, with the eyes looking to the back of the hand and where the shoulder performs. Andrei Moslov, a referee for this match, trying to straighten those wrists before he gives a call. Ready, go. And we've just seen a big top roller table hit.
Good match.
Inside centre table.
Great match.
Oh, wow.
Wow, pull through. Good match. Great match.
Winner. How did that top roll look before she got sucked inside? Lithuania. Winner from yesterday. Big drive to the side. Great pulling. These ladies, the ladies have really come on over the years. I mean, this Swedish team, unbelievable ladies. Obviously, the Russians are always there, the Ukrainians. But now it seems the Lithuanians and Polish are coming through the ranks, Herman.
Yeah, those teams are definitely developing, and all it really takes is to have one really solid leader, and in particular for Lithuania, you've got Mindaugas, right? So where he goes, the team goes.
Ladies, 57 kilo right arm, Lithuania, Poland and Ukraine, 1, 2 and 3. As she holds the Zloty Tur Championship aloft. Extremely happy, a little grin there. Ultimate respect for the rest of our opponents as we move to the senior men's 63 kilo division. And we're going to see last night's left arm winner, Ashot Aradin from Armenia, coming up to the table very shortly. Fantastic position, Fabian Tiger. These two guys have fought all week in IFA. Put it on the line today in Zloty, and he's third place, the German. Super strong guy.
Oh, amazing arm wrestler, multiple champion, world champion. Ferocious, very fast, very strong arm wrestler. Very impressive to watch.
You trained with a few Armenians, Herman?
Yeah, spent a lot of time with Vazgen Zagoyan in Los Angeles. Yeah.
Do you take anything from his training?
Yeah, Vazgen kind of showed me what strong was, right? I moved out to Los Angeles in 2012, young puller, and Vazgen threw me all across the table. So we kind of put things in perspective, and he's part of the reason why I'm successful today in arm wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. He's been an absolute war machine. Multiple-time champion of the world.
Yes, sir.
And the Armenian team have come here in force as we reach the climax of the 63 kilo class.
Two fine athletes will join us for the bronze.
Ashok needing 2 pins, but the Kazakhstan needing just 1.
On the B side, not something he's normally used to.
The Kazakhstan team
setting up for the hook.
was so strong. What are you seeing in that setup there, Herman?
I'm seeing that traditional side pressure setup from Algabayev. I mean, this is traditional Kazakhstan arm wrestling, right? I'm looking for a massive chop right across to the pad. Ashot's a lot more diverse of a puller, so he has more tools in his arsenal. But I see inside only for Kazakhstan.
Yeah, he's want to get bone on bone straight away. Get underneath. There it is. Right, who has the best bone structure? That's what we're working out right now. We'll slowly be building and building, going up, coming down. Is that right, about right, Herman?
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that a shot stopped him. Typically, the Kazakh guys finish real quick.
They did have the same sort of war earlier in the day, so I think they have felt each other out and they know where they're at. So they're going to just take it slow.
Both guys jollying for position in the centre of the table. We have a war here at the Zloty Tur 2019, and we have just got a pin, but referee Rick Pickney signals the victory. What a match!
Wow, and this is not a Kazakhstan arm wrestler I'm very familiar with, so it's just amazing how deep their roster is. You can have all the names you know not show up, and then they still win. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're just in Kazakhstan though. You know, you saw the videos that have been going around. They've got like 250 kids in a club. You know, they've got so many hands to grip. They've got all the tables, all the Mazarenko tables,
correct,
all the Mazarenko pulleys. They're just bred to arm wrestle.
And that's something you'll see with some of the top performers. I mean, these are not just individuals that come out of nowhere. I mean, they're coming out of top-notch programs that are producing and making these athletes.
We're going to see the main man from Kazakhstan, the favourite son of Kazakhstan tonight, Kurdigeli Ongabayev, as he puts it on the line with with Gennady Prudnik. How do you see that one going before we jump the gun to the next final?
I mean, I would lean towards Prudnik on that match, but I pulled both of them, and both of those guys are just amazing pullers.
Who are you tipping to win?
Prudnik.
Prudnik?
Yeah. Too many tools, too big, etc., etc. If it was confined to a weight class like 95 kilos, maybe there'd be more restrictions on Prudnik, but both of those guys are just extreme athletes.
Inside that lock hook pulling from these guys is just.
We're going to move to the women's 65 kilo class.
Heavier men dread to face.
And guess who's going to be in it? Feel rising. This lady has got more gold in the bank than Bank of England.
65 kilos.
Yeah, and based on all the days of competing this weekend, I mean, we've seen this match 4 times at this point, I think.
Suffering one loss in the
And Ellen, gentlemen, the young Swede, 7 times champion of the world, 8 times eight European titles. Yana, look at that focus. On the left arm yesterday when this girl lost, she was absolutely devastated. She looked like the dummy had been spat out of the pram. She'd been told off by her parents. It meant so much to this young girl. And when, you know, it shows so much when Fia was so ecstatic with the victory over this young 18-year-old girl. It shows how good she must be.
Yeah, it's definitely a respect to Ellen and her skill set that Fia would be surprised at the victory or excited about the victory. And then Ellen's reaction the entire weekend has been the same. It's been that end of the world feeling after some of those losses, and it's motivating to see someone with that level of seriousness, especially an 18-year-old.
Oh yes. What are you thinking, Rick? Who's got this one?
I'm thinking Fia on the right is a lot stronger than the left, and the fact that she won the left pretty dominantly yesterday, I think Fia's going to go straight through. There'll be no strap. She'll control the match from the start and pin for the win. And have 2 Zloty Cups to go along with her World Championships.
But the young super athlete from the north of Sweden,
Fia Isaac. Do we hit the referee's grip? Head referee Leonard Harkless signalling both ladies if they want the thumbs. I'm sure both will. Fia Isaac's hands like stone.
think she's got to be nice and go straight through, not catch. Oh no! Oh no!
And that just shows the hand.
I got that wrong. Obviously wanting to establish her domination, just catching her right in the middle.
What do you think about that for a centre table block, Herman?
Yeah, I guess you could. I'm not really surprised. Fia's got this match in the bag. I mean, they just kind of have to go through the motions and wrap this up. But again, we've seen it all weekend. I mean, it's another Sweden final. I mean, these teams are just stacked, and I'm kind of jealous when I saw 100 people in blue Swedish shirts. You know, I wish I could have this in the United States. I'd be a much better puller, you know.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And talk about the United States. Referee headlightless closes the fingers, and we're off. And a big hit from the youngster, but Fia Isaac just too strong and takes it to the pad. Embracing with a hug. Fia again, once again, champion of the Zloty Tur. Another gold medal to put with the rest. This woman is an absolute beast. She's cemented herself as a Hall of Famer, not just in Sweden, but all around the world.
Easily the most successful woman arm wrestler this weekend. She has 2 IFA World Championship golds and now has 2 Zloty Tur Cups and gold medals.
And I think you also have to respect her role as a team coach, right? So just think of all the athletes under her that have medals this weekend, and it truly shows you how successful Fia is. It's not just what she's done individually, but the team she's sort of helped construct and develop over the years.
I've seen her coaching the whole time, all the other juniors, the different weight classes. She's always there yelling encouragement and right there giving them little steps all the way through. So, yeah, great athlete, great ambassador for the sport.
In third place, Natalia, 2019 Kiev Open Cup winner. So she was. It's not been an easy class for these Swedes, but once again dominating the women's classes.
Thank you, ladies.
Yeah, I think the reason why Swedes won the outright cup champions of IFA World was because of the girls. They had so many titles they won over the world this weekend. So Polish won everything else, but it was Sweden that won the seniors.
Yeah. The men have done so good though, Sweden, this week. I mean, Patrick Berg getting his bronze medal. We've got the young 21-year-old giant Bjorn Borg from Sweden, Tobias. He's going to be an absolute beast. We saw him yesterday in the Supers, doing himself proud, making the final.
And just missed out today. Just got to the semi-final and just missed out. Great future.
Yeah, very surprising performance today.
He surprised a lot of people with his speed.
With his speed and his hook. Yeah. You look at the guy and you automatically assume top roll, but he's not afraid to go inside, even if the guy's 350 pounds, you know.
Yeah, I was talking to Ben earlier, who arm wrestled him just before the finals, and he's set up as soft, so he doesn't give you anything. There's no pressure whatsoever. It's soft, and so he can go either way. He can hook or he can top roll, both express. So he's got a big future in the sport.
And talking about the top roll king making his way to the table. Tarasaitis from Lithuania. This guy is an animal.
Yeah, one of the best absolute pullers in the world. Minimum top 5 at 70 kilos. And one of my favorite pullers to watch, and just a cool guy.
Yes, well, can the Pole Slavomir Malis, who was in the finals with him yesterday, because he got anything for Tarasaitis?
Tarasaitis looking very relaxed coming in.
You see a similarity to the setup there, Herman?
Yep.
But he has warded off the challenge once before today.
The referee.
Oh, gee, both relax. No
For a little. Shoulders square. Knuckles visible, wrist straight. Oh, we're off, and look at the hand control. Down to the pad. Tarasaitis bags another gold medal, bags another title. This man's an absolute machine.
Very impressive arm wrestler, especially inside. Like I said, I was in the China Open a few months ago. He won 2 classes, right and left. He is a complete arm wrestler. He has it all.
You're an arm wrestling purist, Herman. Fantastic technician yourself. Can you tell me what you can see in that top roll?
I mean, I think we can analyze the technicalities of his top roll, but the truth is that this guy is just strong. Even at 70 kilos, he has this similar hand size as I do, similar wrist and arm structure as I do, and I outweigh him by, 40 kilos, maybe, 30 kilos. So the guy's strong, and we can write it off as a top roll, but he's stronger than everyone here. And there's probably only 3 or 4 other guys that can even give him any sort of trouble on the planet at his weight.
Yeah, an absolute machine. He's only a young lad too. He's only a baby, yeah? 24 years old or 25 years old.
Okay, wow.
I think he's had a bit of an hard life. As we see Igor Mezirenko giving him a little pat on the back. It's been a fantastic week for that man. Bringing the Zloty Tur and the top 8 to Rumia, Poland once again. Here in the Mozilla Stadium. Last night we had 1,700 people watching the top 8. As you can see in the stands, the crowd again is starting to build. Moving on towards the final 2 matches of the top 8. The singing assassin against the silent assassin. Kurtageli Ongabayev, Evgeny Prudnik. Before we move on to the 6'9" ice road trucker attempting to climb and conquer what is Mount Levan Sashnashvili in the $50,000 match.
Love those analogies. Spot on that.
And
your Gronlund from Denmark. This lady's also a referee, but this weekend, this week she's been putting it in, and I do believe she's double champion of the world.
And I think she has a powerlifting background too.
She certainly does, yeah.
Very strong. I think she bumped me downstairs, and I was the one that kind of stumbled a little bit.
She's only been arm wrestling for 3 years.
Oh, wow.
And she's 2 times champion of the world in Masters Division. And she's now in the final of the Zloty against Myron Kleinsmith, world champion from 2018. Has she got anything for Kleinsmith, guys?
I don't think so. No, that's just my personal opinion. But it's arm wrestling. Long days, injuries, cold muscles, things happen. So everyone has a chance, so to speak. But my money would be on Malin.
Malin's got to go through. It's not even going to stop for 1 second.
All the Swedish pullers, though, they're so explosive. I can't think of any slow starter, and there's no slow starter there. As she powers to the pad like Usain Bolt in an Olympic final.
Such an impressive arm wrestler, so strong on the wrist, and top roll is ferocious. Great arm wrestler.
Just walks to the top of the podium, to the first place spot. She's got a taste for gold medals, and she's just bagged another one. This lady is an absolute beast. But Anya has got a big future in the sport, only been in it for a few years. As Igor gives Marlin a pat on the back as she receives another gold medal. We start to move up the weight classes. 78 kilo men's division coming next. Ukraine against Greece. Dimitris Flikadidis. I do apologise if I'm a little bit off with that.
I think it's a pretty good attempt. Pretty close. I think it's close.
You've got the old Greek blood there, Rick.
Well, I get told I look Greek and Italian. But no,
yeah, I was thinking more like, Peter Andre.
That's an insult in England, isn't it?
No, he's now loved by the English.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay,
so
stuff together.
He's in many adverts in the cheap shops like Pound Stretcher. And so, Herman, 78 kilo division. You've been sat here all day, you've watched all the matches.
Well, yeah, I don't have much information on 78 kilos, but anytime you have a Ukraine athlete, you know they're going to be top notch. And when you have a Swedish guy in Patrick Berg finishing up third, you know everyone ahead of him is going to be pretty good. So, yeah, we'll see. I know Dimitri's going to go for a top roll. That's sort of his thing from what I've seen. And historically, I mean, a Ukrainian guy's going to want to hook, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, the Ukrainian team split the federation at the moment. They sent a good, strong team. Everything's built in. We've had a ridiculously successful first championships, and everyone we spoke to is over the moon. We've found many new champions of the world, and we're going to be gifting another title to these guys in the 78 kilo division here at the Zloty Tur.
Yeah, man,
Roman Rybasov from the Ukraine.
Man, he looks solid.
Sorry?
He looks very solid.
Yeah, he does. Look at those arms.
This guy's pretty built.
What's he looking for there, Roman? Can you see anything special in the arm position?
It's the setup. I mean, Roman sort of has a carve in, his shoulders cocked in, and his wrist is turned under. Doesn't mean he can't go outside, but he's definitely trying to shut down Dimitri's top roll, it seems.
How is Roman under 78 kilos with arms that size?
I don't know. I wish I had arms like that. See this?
Oh, look at that. Is he making signal with a foul? I thought he was going to bring out a more muscular pose to the crowd as he waves his finger.
No, this dude's just raging. I like it, though. I mean, yeah, this guy's got some energy.
You can see how much that means to him. Look at him. He's saying, look at me, I'm the man in this glass. I am the man. As he touches the top of the first spot podium place. Solid from the Ukrainian. Oh, yes.
So confident. Let him hit. Give him a look. Pin him through.
That signals anything, but this is my place.
Who's that in third place there? Is that Patrick?
That's Patrick Berg.
Yeah, another one of the Swedes there, Patrick Berg.
And he probably could have placed higher, but I know he was in a war with Jordan Davis from Australia early on, and I think that really took him down a notch.
Yeah, I saw that match, and he come back from being in a very bad dead risk position, just managed to keep his pronation,
correct,
which was enough to get Jordan outside of his shoulder and put him to the pad.
And that's the difficulty with these tournaments, is that you get into one long match, completely changes your day. We could have easily been looking at Patrick in first place here.
Once that adrenaline starts wearing off, he's all smiles and joy. On his way back to Ukraine with the Zloty Tur Cup.
Well, we can see the hot lady. She's still busting out the moves with the headphones on. That girl has not stopped moving for 2 days. She's got the energy of 10 Ukrainian arm wrestlers. As we see.
And she can keep moving. It's not bothering me.
We better not let the wife find out about that one, Herman. We'll edit it, don't worry. This lady's 75 kilo plus division. Anna Gronuland again. We're going to be making her way to a second final of the day, as you've seen her jumping up and down. She can't quite believe this week as she has the cocky strut and saying, hang on, have I done this? I'm 2 times champion of the world. I'm in 2 Zloty Tur finals. But her opponent...
Marlon again. Marlon's coming up now. I think that's why she's laughing. We know the result. They're all having a good time now.
She knows she's probably got this one in the bag as she does the old pistol fingers to the camera, jumps on stage.
I was scared for a second. I thought she was pointing at me. I don't want anything to do with Malin, especially right now.
Anna sporting the Mohawk from Denmark. She's been, like I said, successful all week as head referee for this match. Rick Pickney. Oh,
Wow.
Signals the win to Marlin. No messing around. She didn't allow Anna to get the power in. She just put her to the pad using the Swedish explosiveness. These girls, they must have some form of secret training. Every one of them is just so explosive and so strong, direct to the pad.
I think it's just the team environment. I mean, when you have people constantly pushing you, supporting you, and then just driving you to your limits, you have no reason but to improve and but to get better.
Well, I hope she's not flying Ryanair, because I don't think the budget airlines will allow that trophy in the 10 kilogram baggage allowance.
Normally you'll find with these countries that their sponsors will actually buy an extra seat. So, yeah, I think you'll find that they'll be all right with that.
Well, she deserves the extra seat, because she's going to need an extra bag. 2 of those big trophies and 2 gold medals. Big smile, big shake of hands. Queen playing in the background. We are the champions. And did I mention that we sat next to a champion of the world, Herman Stevens? If you're just joining us, our special guest for this evening, taking us straight through to the top 8, is Herman Stevens from the United States of America, enjoying a fantastic tournament. They was dry for a little while. They'd used up all the oil in Houston, and then somewhere in Louisiana they dug up some when they pulled out Herman Stevens, and he come and brought back a gold medal for the team.
Yeah, speaking of the United States, here's a countryman, Daniel Mosier. He's probably the biggest surprise of this event. He's had some pretty good success in the United States, national level arm wrestler, but I don't think anyone would have guessed that he would have come here and ended up in the finals in the 86 kilo class.
He's in unbelievable condition. I was speaking with him earlier, and he was just changing his t-shirt, and he literally looks like Michelangelo's carved him out of stone. He's been chiseled and chiseled and chiseled away. He's ripped, and he's absolutely gigantic for 86 kilos.
Yeah, he makes Mike Aiello look like a slob, you know.
And he can match him for the tan as well.
Yes, he can.
But can he match Dmytro Shamashuk from the Ukraine in the hook? These two battled it out earlier. It stopped centre table. Daniel committed 2 elbow fouls, so there's nothing much between them. So it's very much in the balance, Rick.
Yeah, he's got to watch that coming off the back. He's going to lean in. I think this time he will stop dead centre and let the other guy work. So we'll see what happens, but he just can't force it too much. He has the strength to stop him and get it onto his side, to get inside his shoulder, but I don't think he wants to work too much like he did last time, because he got 2 elbow fouls. What do you think, Herman?
Yeah, and Dan's similar. He's a big hitter, high-speed guy. I'm a little concerned that Dan may be fatigued. He stayed here all day, even between the matches. So that would be my concern for Dan. Does he still have the fire, and is he still ready to go?
Got deceptively big hand as Dan. His fingers there look like 5 giant pieces of corn. There's Andrei Maslov, Russian referee, head match for this 86 kilo finals, Zloty Tur 2019.
Dan has to win twice.
Shoulder square, wrist straight, thumbs knuckle visible. We're just waiting for that call. Ready, go. When we get it, and it is the hook. Mosier slightly open centre table. Oh, referee, what decision? Dmitry with a win. Ukraine first, USA second, Ukraine third. Daniel, you've done your country proud, Herman.
Yeah, and like I said, it was the break. This is not the same Dan that was here earlier in the day. This did not help Dan having to wait for the finals, but he should be able to hold his head up proud. If you look through the history books, I bet Dan is one of very few people, if he's not the only American, that podiums in this class in the 20 years that Zloty has existed. So Dan is in rare air at this point.
Yeah, you've trained with him many times, I'm gathering?
No, for the most part, I've lived in California most of the last 6-7 years. So I haven't trained with Dan once at all. Yeah.
But maybe you got to get some training in now.
Maybe so. Dan's one of Craig Touyer's proteges, and so that's who sort of trained Dan up and sort of gotten him to this level today.
Yeah, Craig Tourier, an absolute beast in himself. It would have been nice to have seen him here maybe in the same class. If not, could he make 78 kilos?
Craig could surely make 78 kilos, but, you know, some people like to be bigger, you know.
The old, I won't say, small man syndrome.
I didn't say it.
No, but you kept nudging him in the leg.
Yeah. But again, truly amazing performance by Dan. Surprise of the whole day.
Yeah, unbelievable. Well done, Daniel Mosier.
I was surprised that he
well
pulled
done,
it this
Dimitrov.
way. Does he not normally pull around about 90, 95 kilos?
Yes, and I would say on any given day he could weigh 100 kilos.
Yeah.
So he made 86, and I know yesterday he was 95 kilos.
Oh, wow.
So who knows? Today he could have been 100. I'm not sure. But his game was on point. His cut was on point, and he maintained all of his strength. So pretty impressive all around.
Well, we've seen one chiseled physique, Daniel Mosier, looking too big for the class. And we're about to see another one in a second. He's going to be coming from the Ukraine, Petrenko. This guy is a tank. Been training with the late, great Andrei Pushka since he was 14 years old. He's doing himself and his country proud. Look at that for a physique.
Yeah, I pulled this guy earlier today, and I'm in a mild depression currently. I mean, the guy just didn't move, man.
Yeah.
You know, usually you can kind of get some movement on people and make you feel somewhat good and make it seem like they're human, but I didn't get that feeling pulling Oleg.
So much will, so much arm wrestling on a level beyond
And
what might thought
let's
to
not
be
forget
possible.
from Russia here, Vadim
Undefeated
Alekhanov.
at the top of the bunch stands
Yeah, and Bottom's an exceptional arm wrestler also. He seems a little more balanced than Oleg, a little more flexible on the table, whereas Oleg just seems like a big truck.
You can see the load through the centre of the hand there. You know where Oleg's going to be going. It's little telling off there from Leonard. Slipping straps maybe? No? Oh, not this time. Top roll straight through to the pad as he holds Vadim's arm aloft and then give us a double bicep as he makes his way to the top spot once again here at the Zloty Tur in Rumia 2019.
Strong hands, controlled the match from the start. It was never in doubt.
Yeah. I guess I shouldn't feel so bad because my match looked very similar to this.
And let's not forget from Armenia, David, 2018 world champion, finishing third. This has been an absolute stacked class. Of course, this one is one that's going to be contested in the top 8 next year. So excited. We're going to be seeing the return of the legend, the perfect storm, John Brzezinski. He's going to be sat there, well, should I say stood there aloft with Kurdigeli Ongabayev and Rustam. Sorry, Kurdigeli Ongabayev and Rustam Babayev.
Yes.
We're going to find, well, I'm sure Petrenko is surely going to get this chance now after winning this class.
I would think so. I mean, just a dominating performance. And when you already have a class of Rustam and Kurdigeli and John Brzezinski, I mean, you have to have the absolute best. You can't have halfway guys or borderline guys. Only Petrenko types and these types of guys will be allowed in that class.
I hear down the line, that they're going to be using some possible 105 guys if they can make the weight. So we could see some of our next guys, and one of them is going to be Yevgeny Pavlenko from Ukraine, another one of the Ukrainian beasties. But the most impressive man of yesterday was the return of Krasy Kostadinov. He looked incredible.
Amazing performance. He seems like he's been down for a while, low body weight, maybe some injuries, but I think he's back.
You know, Krasy seemed to go off the boil for about 12 months, 18 months. He seemed to be maybe nursing an injury because he was top rolling quite a lot. Maybe he was looking at one of his heroes, Svetlana Gachevsky, who's been using a top roll now for some years and with massive success. Or maybe he's just wanted to challenge himself because that man, he will pull in any class all over the world. He was 110 kilos, 105 kilos, and he was chasing Levin. He was chasing all the guys in the supers. He probably could have had another 10 world titles to his name. He's got nothing but ambition. He said to me he would rather be in the big main top 8. Can you see a future for him there?
Oh, I think he can do very well. I mean, even recently, even with the injuries, he was 95 kilos pulling Mauricio Barboza and taking him to his limit. So there's nothing that Krasimir really can't do on an arm wrestling table as long as he's healthy and motivated. And I think maybe over the last year he hasn't been, but this weekend he surely seems so.
Krasimir Kostadinov, Bulgarian's absolute Hall of Fame legend, as he just bags himself another, sorry, elbow foul, as Krasi looks a little bit bemused by that decision.
No problem. He'll slow it down and can finish it off.
Lifting it up very, very slightly.
He, like I was saying, he took a little break, 12 months, 18 months away from the hook. Yesterday, on his unfavoured arm left, he come away with the overall title, beating Siliev, which is unreal.
Yeah, what's interesting with a lot of these guys like Krasimir, they'll go through their main weight class with the B move. Krasimir will top roll his way through his weight class, and then when it comes time for the open competition, he'll pull out his ace, which for him was the hook, and that's how he finished Dimitri yesterday.
And do you think that was his ace move, or is he going to pull the top roll out in the open class tonight? Because we're going to see him there as he wins another Zloty Tur championship. The emotion on his face yesterday, Rick, when he won his first open class.
Yeah, he's won 11 titles before the Zloty Tur, but that was the very first time he's actually won the open class.
Yeah, and you could see how much that meant to him. It was absolutely tears. Well, there was tears welling up in his eyes on stage. He was so happy jumping around. He's such a nice guy. He's got time for everybody, and he's topping the podium again. Bulgaria, Ukraine, and Yevgeny, if I'm correct, was 110 kilo world champion last year, Roman.
That sounds about right. I mean, that's a strong guy even in his own right. I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have won this division, right?
Yeah, from Kyrgyzstan. I think last year he won the world championships. An absolute beast of a man. And you see a little grin there. Krasimir Kostadinov. You pulled him, Herman. You pulled him last year?
Yes, I believe I pulled him last year and even the year before that.
Yeah, I actually pulled him today. He is an absolute gentleman.
What, and you've still got an arm to...
He gave me a little smile with a shake, and I think he knows my level, and he let me hit, and he just gave me a little smile and then pulled through slowly. So he's an absolute gentleman arm wrestler.
Well, I must say, I've been swapping a few little words with Krasi. He said he's going to teach me how to top roll, and with a dodgy wing.
Well, if he can teach you how to top roll, I'll really be impressed with Krasimir. Okay, so we have the senior super heavyweight division coming up, and we've got Davidas Rimkus and Dmitry Siliev.
Siliev once again making the final. He'll be devastated with yesterday's result against Krasi. He'll be wanting so much to get revenge. Look at him, the Siberian kid.
And this is another young guy. I mean, you may not think about it when you look at his size, but this isn't your 15-year veteran or any of that thing, you know. This is just a big, strong kid. You know, this guy's serious.
Was on the way to Brazil in 2012, and this kid was on the same plane. He come over, introduced himself. He was probably about 25 kilos lighter at that time. But he was an absolute beast. He was devastated that he didn't go there and win it. But can you really see many people stopping him now?
Tobias Sporong of Sweden.
No, I mean, the only people that can do anything with Dimitri are like your super elite arm wrestlers, and even someone like a Krasimir yesterday, who's, you know, overly technical, has a lot of tools in his bag, so to speak.
Has not been slowed down on his right today at all. Not for a second.
Head referee Zil trying to get the fingers down at the Lithuanian. Siliev. Oh, slip. We go to the straps. That won't concern Siliev. He enjoys the straps. He's just looking forward, I think, to the open class this evening. He needs to concentrate on this match, though, because the Lithuanian is a giant of a man. 128 kilos he weighed in on the scales. 6 feet 6 inches tall.
Yeah, this guy's a hell of a frame. I don't have much knowledge of him or of how long he's been pulling, but this guy will be able to do something, you know, over the next few years if he gets really committed.
And another one of the Lithuanians in the final. We've seen 2 goals already for the Lithuanians. I'm sure he'll be wanting to add that 3, make that 3. What you looking at? What you thinking now, Rick? With them straps being applied by Zil at this moment in time?
Flash pin.
And may I add, this Lithuanian's still only 21 years old.
Oh, wow. Yeah. This guy's going to be somebody in the near future. I'm seeing high knuckle position on Dimitri, and I see the tall guy with the dumped wrist. This is not looking too good for him. Yeah.
Zloty Tur 2019 in the plus 105 class. Dimitri Siliev walks relatively fresh into tonight's open class finals, which we're going to be seeing very, very soon. It's just a few minutes' time as Igor Mezarenko struts up to the stage one more time. Those legs must be getting tired as he shakes the hand of the Swedish Björn Borg. Tobias Sporring, that kid has a future. Also 21 years of age. Second place from Lithuania. Another 21 years of age, Dividis Orimakus, and of course from Russia, once again champion of the Zloty Tur, Dimitri Siliev. So, guys, we're almost there.
Can Casimir do it again? He hasn't been stopped either.
I wasn't thinking about this open class. We've got a few minutes for that. I was thinking about the top 8. If you've not got your pay-per-view for the top 8, well, you will have it if you've been watching this, but if you haven't got it, go and tell your friends. If you're stood in the kitchen with your granny making cookies, get yourself into the living room, turn on the television, get the pay-per-view, because you are going to see an absolute spectacle, and someone tonight is going to win a $50,000 prize. 2 giants of the arm wrestling scene, 2 of the biggest men in arm wrestling. Vitaly Latin against Mount Leven Sashnashvili. That's yet to come in about an hour and a half, 2 hours time. As we see Anders Axel there, sporting the new hairstyle. He now looks like a Wilson tennis ball instead of a cue ball.
I can't say too much because I can't grow a head of hair like that.
Done a fantastic job this weekend. The guy never stops talking. I don't know how he keeps his voice. Travels all over the world. As we see Denis Siplikov coming to the stage, it'd be fantastic to see him back next year.
Just going back to Anders for a second, I was chatting to him outside, and I asked him, like, the announcing and how he has so many different languages. And for 13 years, he'd been an announcer on Eurosport, so that's where it always comes from. He's been doing it for a long, long time. 13 years was an announcer on Eurosport.
Yeah, he lived in Botswana for...
Wow.
He was actually... His mum and dad was Christian missionaries in Botswana back in the day. I think he was about 4 months old when he moved there. And obviously he learned to speak fluent English then, as well as many other languages. And if you speak to him, he's very knowledgeable about most things. Obviously doing an amazing job as EFA president, and with the Swedish Federation coming forth with 100+ pullers, taking multiple medals, gold medals, multiple silvers and bronzes. It's been an absolute gold and silver fest for the Swedes in the blue and gold.
Just a little background on the Swedes. A big reason why they're so good is they actually have most high schools in Sweden have 10 to 15 tables, so it's actually part of their curriculum, and they get graded on it, like in your phys ed sports classes, and they have regular lessons throughout the week. So that's why there's so many young, amazing arm wrestlers coming out of Sweden, because it is part of their school curriculum. So, and I think that was because it's who was the 12-time world champion? What's her name? Do you remember who that was?
As we see the team championships being handed out. Ukraine, an amazingly successful week here at the Zloty Tur. As we see Dennis coming up for the Russians, 89 points. So good to see him back, looking a lot healthier nowadays. Obviously dropped a few pounds, but if he can come back in any sort of form, he'll be one of challenging the likes of Levin and Vitali next year.
Yeah, the sport's really missing out with Dennis being gone, and I can't wait to see him back because he'll really sort of elevate the super heavyweight class on the global scale, and then we really get to figure out, who's the baddest man on the planet.
Who's the baddest man?
And we are just getting started this evening. We want those competing in the Open to come to the corridor for the check-in.
Yeah, as you can hear from Anders Laxdal, the check-in of the Open class is about to start. We're getting the names. We're throwing them into the pot. They're going to bubble around for a second, and then we're going to find out who's going to be coming out for round number 1.
Yeah, I think we're going to have some first-time ever happening situations tonight. Pretty sure. Dan, Herman, has there ever been an American in the Open? Zloty?
Yeah, I pulled an Open.
Oh, you pulled the Open? Oh, well done.
Sorry, Dan.
So you're big, Dan.
Yeah, no, I'm sure Todd Hutchings has, Brzezinski has, and these guys. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, on our side from Australia and New Zealand, Ben Carroll actually had an amazing performance in the super heavies today, and he came 5th. And it wasn't even aware that because it's the top 8 heavyweight guys automatically go in, so he will be the first New Zealand Australian arm wrestler in history to have ever pulled in the Open. So it's a pretty big deal what's happening tonight. I mean, he didn't even realise, but now he's really excited.
Yeah,
it's
and
a big moment.
I'm glad you brought his name up. I mean, we talk about, or we see on Facebook and social media, Ryan Bowen and Lachlan Adair. Ben Carroll's the guy that actually had some success today. This is the guy I think we should be talking about going forward with respect to Australian arm wrestling.
That will be tough, Herman. He is a very, very shy guy, not a fan of social media. It's just, he finds it a bit awkward, and very humble guy as well. Doesn't like to talk, he just likes to arm wrestle.
Very easygoing guy, and I'm not saying he has to talk about himself. I'm just saying that we can talk about him.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to push him into the social media, get him to start posting things, see if we can get him some exposure. It would be great to get him with some competitions in America sometime, because I feel like this will elevate him on the world scene. To come 5th with 5 wins, pretty much from nowhere, that no one knows about him. And we know about him in Western Australia, Perth, and most of the other Australians, when they've seen him over the years, they know he's amazing. But now the world knows. So hopefully, we can get him into the social media and posting things, and we might see him in America soon, pulling one of your competitions at a high level.
Yeah, and 5th out of what, 30 pullers or something?
26. There was 26 pullers.
Yeah, that's a hell of a first time at Zloty.
Yeah, that's a lot of pierogies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of pierogies in that class. 26, the biggest class of the day by far. Absolute beast. There was 21 yesterday on the left arm. The left arm now is becoming more and more important each and every time. As we see a few replays from today's finals. It's been an amazing weekend. What are you going to take away from this week, Herman, now your job's done?
I've had enough success this week to motivate me for next year, such as the IFA World Championship, and I've had enough failure this weekend to motivate me for next year. So really, I need to get stronger. That's really what it comes down to. I come here every year. I leave with the same thing. I need to get stronger. And so once January 1st starts up, I'll be right back and running to training.
Yeah. As we see, that was probably the highlight of today's finals up to now. Nice little hook match there. Kazakhstan taking the victory.
Yeah, it's not something you see a lot on the European stage as bone-to-bone arm wrestling. I mean, it's a big thing in America. I know that Americans love to just let's get inside and who's got the strongest bone structure. Europeans, normally they're very fast over the top roll or into a press or hook through. I mean, isn't that right, Herman? Like, Americans do love to get in that bone-to-bone type of hook.
Yeah, but I think you see it here. I mean, I think maybe the techniques are different and maybe it looks a little bit different, but I think for me in that match, I'm just surprised that Kazakhstan was slowed down. You know what I mean? Usually they just blow people up all over the table.
Yeah. Well, every competition I've ever been and watched, that's all I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just so explosive.
I'm kind of jealous. It makes me want to sort of consider what I need to do to mimic their sort of attack style.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you've just got to live in 70 below temperature, and where they have, I think it snows like 9 months of the year, and the actual arm wrestling camps that we're talking about, where they have 100 tables, they actually live there. So, but they have to have a certain amount of wins to be able to get there, because the government actually sponsors them. So it's basically live and breathe arm wrestling day and night.
Wow,
and
amazing.
Never go outside.
Yeah, I think the 70 below is going to be difficult in Louisiana.